everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the garter stitch. If you already know how to knit a garter stitch, I did include some timestamps so you can jump directly to the section you want to be. So I'm starting with my long tail cast on here. I like to drape my yarn around my thumb and index finger and hold it with my other two fingers in place. Then I'm twisting my needle around the yarn to create my first stitch. When we lean our needle to the back, you can see that we have formed a slingshot here. Then we are going to insert our needle through the loop on the thumb. Then we are grabbing the yarn from the index finger and we are pulling the yarn through the thumb loop to create the stitch. And then we are going to tighten our first stitch. Bring the needle to the back to form the slingshot position. Then insert your needle through the loop on your thumb. Grab the yarn from the index finger and pull it out through the loop on your thumb. Tighten your stitch and then you have your third cast on stitch. Lean your needle to the back to form the slingshot position. Insert your needle through the loop on your thumb. Then grab the yarn from the index finger, pull it out through the loop on your thumb, and then tighten your stitch. When you are finished with your cast on, we can start knitting our garter stitch pattern. The garter stitch pattern is super easy to learn because you only need to know how to knit stitches when knitting in rows. So to start, I'm tensioning my yarn in between my little finger and my ring finger. Then I bring it over my hand and I'm wrapping it around my index finger twice. Be careful that you don't accidentally grab your little yarn tail here. So when knitting your first knit stitch, insert your needle from front to back into the first stitch. Insert it from front to back. And then wrap your yarn around the needle counterclockwise and bring it through the stitch on your needle. Slip the old stitch off the needle and pull a little on your working yarn to tighten your stitch. The small yarn tail can get in the way, so try holding it with your right hand to keep it out of the way. Insert your right needle through the stitch on your left needle from front to back. Wrap the yarn around your needle counterclockwise and pull it through the stitch. Slide the old stitch off the needle and pull a little on your working yarn to tighten the stitch. For the garter stitch, you simply knit every stitch across the row. Then you turn your work and knit across the next row as well. After completing a few rows, you can start to see this typical rich texture the stitch has. It is really easy to learn. It's beautiful and squishy and so cozy. It lies perfectly flat, so perfect for border stitches, and it has the same look on both sides. So counting rows as a beginner can be really confusing. I was extremely confused when I started because I was thinking one ridge is one row, but that's wrong. That's actually not true because one ridge is two rows of knit stitches. So when your pattern calls for knit 4 rows in garter stitch, this simply means you have to knit 4 rows. So in garter stitch, this would mean you have created 2 of these ridges here when you knit 4 rows. Each raised ridge represents 2 rows. To calculate the total number of rows, you have to count the ridges and then simply double them. So place a ruler or any gauge tool you have across the middle of your swatch. So I try to place my ruler exactly on top of the edge of the garter stitch ridge so that the 0 is aligning with the top of the ridge. And then I'm start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 ridges. 15 times 2 equals 30 rows. I have 30 rows in 10 centimeters. So let's see how we can count our stitches here. When we look closely, we can see the happy little side, these little smiles here, and the really unhappy side here, these little frowns here. When you gently stretch your fabric, you can see the structure of each stitch more clearly. You will notice that you have 2 legs, the left and the right side, and then the head of the stitch at the top. So when we look at the stitch here, you can see that we have here the left leg, then the stitch goes up to the head of the stitch and then down to the right stitch. To count our stitches, we want to count the head of our stitch, this one. So I know this sounds super complicated, so I did take a picture so that you can see it a little more clearly. So to count our stitches, we want our focus to be at the sad side of our garter stitch. So we want to count all these little upside down smiles here. I will take my fancy ruler again, and then I'm placing it at the top of my swatch here. So again, I'm looking that my ruler is perfectly aligned with my first stitch here. And then I'm start counting all the stitches in between the 0 and the 10. So I have 16 tiny little frowns here. So my swatch has 16 stitches in 10 centimeters and 30 rows in 10 centimeters. And that's it. That's everything you need to know about the garter stitch. How to knit it, how you can count your stitches and your rows to have a perfect gauge. And I also wanted to show you that you don't need any fancy gauge tools, as simply ruler does a really great job. So I don't own any gauge measurement tools. I only have this little ruler here for years. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm just an email or a comment away, so I'm always happy to help you. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video tutorial. Until next time, bye!